What's up, guys? This is day number 43 of posting a YouTube video every single day until I make $1 from YouTube. So today I wanted to talk about drinking versus smoking, because I feel like that's a relevant topic in today's world. As of recently, I'm not entirely sure when it was, smoking weed has now surpassed, why is my camera messed up? Has now surpassed alcohol as the number one drug that is consumed in the U.S. And I think that's a really interesting fact. One, because it says a lot about current society and how it's structured and what the people are doing. I mean, obviously. But two, because for me, it's just really interesting. Like, why now? Like, why has it not always been like that? What caused that shift? And I don't really know. Like, I'm not here to hit you with a ton of facts and stuff about it. This isn't like a presentation. I really don't know. I also didn't know what to record today. So this is kind of why I'm just rambling on about this. I think one of the reasons that people are now smoking a lot more weed than alcohol is that social culture is kind of dying. Like, I think, not to say that parties are no longer a thing. Like, there's plenty of partying going on. And there's plenty of drinking going on. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I just think more and more, like, less people are going to parties, less people are engaging in that, like, 90s, early 2000s type, like, lifestyle, like, in high school and in college, that kind of classic lifestyle of, you know, you party, like, every night or every Friday night or whatever, and you get really drunk and all that kind of stuff. And not to say that weed was not a thing, but I don't think it was as prevalent. And also another thing that I think is a big factor to this is that weed is now legal in a lot of states. I live in California, and it's legal in California, which I think is absolutely insane. Not necessarily even that that's bad. I just think it's crazy that it is. Like, that a drug is just legal, that you can smoke and use, you know, at your leisure. Obviously, you can't drive, but whatever. That's not my point. But I think it's kind of like a reflection of society. I think people nowadays, especially kids and teenagers, who sadly are the people that smoke a lot of this weed and do a lot of this drinking. I think a lot of them just want to be. It's more of like a chill with friends environment, and I think that's what people are leaning towards more. And people are also just getting, like, less reckless, which on one side is good, because there's less, like, you know, drinking and driving accidents from teens, which that's a statistic, like a scientific fact. They've done studies on that, and that is a great thing. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a great thing. But I just think that we're just kind of moving from the, like, reckless era to a more brain dead kind of era. I think that's a big reason why weed is more prevalent now. And I just think overall, like, we're less, adolescents in particular, that's what I'm mainly talking about, are less reckless, they're less outgoing. And I think that's kind of sad in some ways, but I guess it's just kind of how things are now. And so, yeah. Another big thing is that weed, you know, you don't really get hungover from weed. I mean, I'm not an expert, so I'm not entirely sure, but to my understanding, you don't really get a hungover from weed as much as you do from alcohol. And so that's like, you can get super high, and then, like, you're okay the next day, you know. And also, you don't make as many dumb decisions with weed. Like, you don't get super overconfident and really ambitious and want to go, like, you know, do crazy stuff. With weed, you just kind of want to chill. And so I think that's kind of a positive, I would say, because it leads to less dangerous activities happening for society. But I just think as a whole, it's kind of a bad thing. And that may be a crazy take, but I think we see there's statistics that, like, people are getting in less relationships, people are having, like, less meaningful relationships, and even less, like, you know, one night stands and stuff like that. Like, hookup culture, while it is, like, very prevalent, this is a really interesting statistic, actually. while hookup culture is like very prevalent right now, there's actually less hookups going on than there were like 10 years ago, which is really interesting. And that means that there's less long-term relationships happening, like even less than that. So that's a really interesting fact, and I think that's all kind of connected with the weed being more popular, and drinking not being so much popular. Not that it isn't, but yeah. Other things to talk about. Oh, this is something interesting. Like, I just feel like everybody in my workplace is always smoking weed. And also everybody in my workplace, not everybody, also a lot of people in my workplace are really, really lazy. And particularly the ones that smoke weed, which is not crazy to say. Like, that's pretty obvious. But it's just I feel like it's making a generation of just like losers. Like, there's so many people nowadays my age and older and younger, like from the 16 to like 25 range. And there's obviously outstanding like 30-year-olds and like 14-year-olds, right? That just like do whatever they have to do, like whether it be school or work. Their whole schedule is like, let's say you're in like college and you have a job. Your whole schedule is like, you go to college you have 4 hours of classes, and then you come home and you smoke weed, and then you like go to work, and then after work you smoke more weed, and you just do that every single day. Like, there is so much weed smoking going on. It is absolutely insane. Everybody that I know has smoked weed, and a lot of people I know like smoke weed like very regularly as well. And yeah, I don't know, it's a really interesting thing, and it's kind of making losers. That's what I want to say here. Maybe it's a hot take, but yeah, it's making losers, and it's making people that are not ambitious, that are like not timid, but just unmotivated, and just don't really want to do anything. So I'd say overall it's a negative. And while there are positives like less drug driving accidents and less reckless behavior and stuff like that, and less like violence due to alcohol, like no one's really going to get violent after smoking weed. That's the last thing on your mind. So yeah, that's all I have for you today, guys. I think it's just an interesting fact I wanted to share. I'm running real low on creativity recently, so I don't really know what to upload these days. So I think the videos have been deteriorating a little bit, which is sad to see, because ideally you start at day 0, and then it's a scale, like a linear track up here. But what I'm finding is that I was at day 0, and then around a certain day I went up, and then sometimes the videos are worse, and it's not at all a linear path as far as the quality of the videos. I'm working on some videos right now though that I think have the potential to be really, really good, like better than anything I've ever posted. And so I'm very excited about that. But for now, for the next few days, I don't really got much. So I'm just talking about things that interest me and probably don't interest anyone else. And honestly, like nobody, like I know I wouldn't want to hear myself talk about this for 10 minutes. So yeah, but that's okay, because the whole point of the series is just to post every day. So yeah, I think soon I might do a day in the life video. An absolute legend in the comments said I should do that. And then I got some other stuff coming, so it should be cool. I'm excited. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you tomorrow for day 44, I think. 43 or 44, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, alright, see you guys. Peace.